What's up, guys? This is Peter Scarlett from Team Volon Gaming, here with another video. Maybe discussion, maybe rant, maybe just airing out some feelings. I may be a part of the 1%, and I doubt this video will get noticed, but hey, Mass Effect, EA, if you're watching, I mean, take this into consideration. I don't want Anthem to die, like how Mass Effect Andromeda did. Mass Effect Andromeda I felt was really cool. Like, I streamed 3 of the 6 hours of the demo and I freaking loved it. I mean, it was a little annoying and there were some, like, the puzzles were stupid, but overall I loved the way it was, how it was, where it was going. You know, the type of gameplay, the dialogue always gets me with BioWare games. You know, and the character development, the personalities, that's what I love about their games. I know a lot of people say, like, you know, BioWare is, you know, really good at this and that and storytelling and blah blah, but for me, I love the people that they cast. They always seem to cast the right voice actors, and they always seem to cast like the right, well, I can't say cast, but they always have the right writers for those personalities. You know, like even with Anthem, you know, I really love how some of the characters interact. You know, they're, even though, you know, we all know what happened with Anthem, but I really enjoyed that. Like, I really loved how Faye's love of that one radio show, you know, I forgot what it was because I can't even remember, but like how she was so, you know, just like into it. You know, the voice actor, like, I love her voice, you know, and her character looks cool, but it was just like that passion, you know, like they really always bring in really good people to do lines and dialogue, and then it gives that person, well, that character, more depth and more personality, and I really love that about their game. Same thing with Anthem. Like, Anthem's story needs a heck of a lot of work, but for what it was, I really enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying Anthem, well, to some degree, but we'll get into that later. For me, I'm a little bit biased about Anthem, and I can throw it out there. Being an Armored Core fan, being a Exosuit fan from a kid, my mom really encouraged me to get into fiction and science fiction especially. And when I first saw Iron Man, I thought he was really cool. You know, so I have a real big love for Iron Man. There were 2 cartoons that were on as a kid. There was one where he was like a scientist, I guess. I don't even remember, but I just remember, like, he had this ugly looking suitcase, and the suitcase would transform into the Iron Man suit, and I thought that was so dumb. But I still thought it was cool that he had an exosuit, you know. Like, there was another cartoon called Exo Squads. That's probably dating myself, but I was like a real little kid in elementary when that show came out. Not so many people even remember Exo Squads. And then later on, of course, the Iron Man movie with Robert Downey. Like, that movie was just freaking awesome. You know, Robert Downey Jr. really played off Tony Stark very well, and like, he made me a believer. Like, seeing that movie, I could watch that movie a million times and I'll still shed a tear, because that movie is, like, to me, it's like living the dream. You know, it's seeing it in action. You know, the free flight, you know, the abilities, the armor itself, and what it takes to make it, the science behind it. You know, and I know Marvel artists, you know, they said plenty of times, like, they don't even know what they're talking about. You know, when it comes to some of the science that they add into the comics for Iron Man, like, they just kind of make it up and wing it. They don't even research it, and they just hope that people are like, you know what, that makes sense, and they'll go with it. but I've always loved Iron Man for that, even as a kid. You know, with the second cartoon, the one where he was, the one with the opening theme, if you look it up, the I Am Iron Man theme, where he's wailing on an anvil and it's like, am, you know, like that man, I love that intro. But that cartoon was just what set it off for me, like the Hall of Armor and him having like a suit for every situation. And I had almost all those toys for every suit of armor. growing up. But that's one reason why I'm biased about Anthem. I just really love exosuits, and there's really never been a game, like there was the Iron Man movie game, which was really cool, which was very similar to Anthem, and that was probably as good as it was going to get. But that game was annoying as heck, and they made it annoying on purpose. But I'm really biased against Anthem. Like, I really want it to succeed. I really want the game to continue. It's gonna take time, and I realize that. That's fine. It's gonna take people to do a lot, to pick up slack and to try to fix holes that are there, and to fill in the void of a lot of things. Like, a lot of people really want loot, and that's all I keep seeing. Like, every stream, like every Twitter blast, everybody's like, we want more loot, we want more loot. And for me, it's like, I don't really care about the loot. I really don't care. I want the variety of loot. I would love to stop seeing, even in the videos playing in the background of me playing earlier, like seeing rare drops in Grandmaster 2, kind of just like whatever. But it's like, I'd rather have the variety. I can wait for them to create newer designs, newer guns, melee weapons. I would love to see. I hope BioWare doesn't like take it as, oh, we can't make this now because he said it out loud, he's gonna sue us. But I would really like to see more abilities that kind of tie into these combos. I could go on for days about the combo system and how the effects and the elements work, because I think it's awesome. But like, there are a lot of ideas I really want to see. Like, maybe from the Storm, or maybe from a new Javelin, there's something that kind of like pulls enemies in together, because like some enemies are really spread out and it's hard to do AoE combos. So if there was something to like gather them together, like chain them together or magnetize them, so that they all like kind of group up, and then a Storm can like hit them for an AoE, or maybe not a Storm, but you know what I mean, just like something like, pull all those enemies in, rope them together, and bam, get a big combo off. I would love to see stuff like that. I would love to see a melee frame, like an actual frame, a melee Javelin, like something, since they have like a European aesthetic, like something with a great sword, where the great sword is the focus of the Javelin. It doesn't have to be something way out and crazy, like a sword and a shield, or like a shield and a lance. It doesn't have to be too extreme, but like the focus of it is its sword, and that sword has like energy that comes out of it, so that its ultimate, there's kind of like a beam blade would come out, maybe it's something like Epion from Gundam Wing, and the blade gets huge and it's like cutting stuff in half. It does like 3 big swings, so it does like 2 horizontal swings, and then it comes down with an overhead swing, and it just does an explosion at the end that does massive damage. Who knows, could be like experimental equipment or something, or an experimental Javelin. There are plenty of ways to go, and I really like, that's the thing I like about Anthem, is that there's so many ways to go, where if I was working at EA, I could give them a crap ton of ideas for content. How fast that content would be able to be made is up to the people who work there, and how fast they are, and how skillful they are, and how much time it takes to build the assets and textures and to render and all that stuff. There's a whole bunch of things that go into it, where it's not just give us more loot. It's not going to be that easy. Who knows if they even still have the same files, or the same organized system. They might have to be rebuilding the engine from the ground up behind the scenes. We don't know. But yeah, I don't want it to die. Like, the thing I want is more content. If they can bring in the voice actors, get more dialogue in, fix the story. I wouldn't mind making a new character, to be honest, or making a new account, starting over. I wouldn't mind having my account wiped and playing the new story with, extended parts that weren't there originally. We get to fully see what's going on. They have more forts, or maybe a bigger city. maybe they extend the fort and make it as big as it was in the trailer, you know, have more NPCs walking around, maybe, whatever. Bring life to the game, you know, make you feel like you're in the world that you're in, make it seem like the environment is alive, you know, because it kind of just feels dead, you know. Even with more people playing, the environment kind of feels dead. Like at times, you know, you see birds, like a flock of birds flying by, and you know, there are some enemies that might group together, and you know, like some wildlife that may walk around, but it's like, okay, well, like what about like the fighting faction? You know, we have different factions. What about them trying to invade other areas and you walk in on that? You know, like there's so much, like literally there's just so much that can go into this game to where it's kind of like a blank slate. But I just don't want to see it end. Like I really don't. And I have my own reasons for not wanting to see it end. Like my love for, you know, exosuits and everything came from my mother. She really kind of like I kind of say believe that it was a good thing for me to get into science fiction. Like she supported it. She you know, she progressed it. She was a person who loved Fist of the North Star and Inuyasha. She loved Speed Racer as a kid, Gigantor. You know, she kind of like got me into science fiction and anime and everything I'm into now. You know, like everything I'm into is because of her. So, you know, before she died earlier this year in January, she saw me getting ready for this game. I showed her the trailer and like we were bonding like really hardcore. My mother had cancer and you know, like we bonded over Anthem. Like she saw me, she was like this is the game you've been waiting for. You know, you've got the exosuits, you've got the abilities, and you know, she was like, you know, you're gonna be ready for this, right? And I was like, yeah. So I started like saving up money and working odd jobs and you know, picking up stuff, you know, in the background, selling stuff so I could get my room right, get my streaming right, and you know, make, you know, custom themes for the channel and everything. And when she passed away in January, it hit me hard. So it's like, to me, Anthem is a little bit more than just a game. You know, it's the last thing me and my mom bonded over. And it hurts to say that out loud because I don't want to cry anymore. But to me, it's like Anthem's a special game. You know, it was the last thing I got to see my mom smile over, you know, because she was so excited for me to be excited, type of thing. And yeah, I know there's a lot of business that goes into this, and there's a lot of politics, and you know, I'm pretty sure OSHA is going to start stepping in on EA and everything like that. But for the people at BioWare that are, you know, trying their hardest, you know, my heart goes out to you. You know, to the entire staff, to everyone who was working on the game over 7 years. Thank you for giving me this experience. You know, thank you for making a dream come true, where I at least got to play it. You know, if it does die, you know, it's EA's decision. They're the big company, but you know, I don't want to see it die. Like right now, the reason why I'm not playing Anthem as much, other than life changes, is mostly just because it's the same reason why I stopped playing Warframe. Like, I can log in, I can grind stuff out, I can play the game and have fun. I love playing this game, you know, just like I love playing Warframe. Warframe, I've said plenty times, is like the best Star Wars game out on the market that we'll probably ever have for maybe the next 10-20 years. And you know, it's sad to say that, but it's like every time I log in, it's like, what am I doing? Why am I playing this? Why am I logging in? And that's my problem with Warframe and Destiny 2 and Anthem. With Anthem, I can give it some leeway, you know, but even with the Division 2, it's like, okay, why am I logging in? Like, I've already beat the game. Okay, there's really nothing else to do. You know, I need a purpose. You know, my purpose personally isn't going out and getting more loot. You know, like more loot, more drops, farming for items or for weapons, like whatever. I'll get those when I get them. There's really nothing that catches my eye when it comes to item drops, but for me, it's more like dialogue, content, story progression, character development. That really drives me. Like getting to know the lore, getting to know other personalities, seeing different places, seeing new walks of life, or maybe like a different culture. You know, like all that stuff really sells me on a game, and it keeps me involved. That's why I've played Monster Hunter for so long as I have. Like, I've been playing Monster Hunter since 2005, and I haven't stopped because each region adds something different. Every Monster Hunter game goes to a different region in their world, and you get to see different cultures, you get to see different armor aesthetics, you get to see different designs, and there are different merchants, and you have a purpose if you read the mission logs. But like, you have a purpose, you know, like there's a vendor who's traveling through the forest, and they're like, this pesky Rastalos won't leave me alone. Hunter, help me. And it's like, okay, well then let's go take down that Rathalos, you know? Or the researchers may be like, hey Hunter, we're trying to get to this new area behind this mountain, but there are these elders in our way. Can you take down those elder dragons for us so we can go research this ecosystem? Yeah, sure. You know, like there's a purpose. You know, I'm logging in because there's a purpose. You know, and eventually you hit that wall where there's no more content, but you know, you still have a purpose. In Warframe, I have no purpose. I'm like, why am I killing Grenier? Why am I killing Corpus? Why am I killing Infested? There's really no reason. It's like, why am I even doing this? Like, give me a reason. Like, there's a reason to fight the Lotus, and there's a reason to fight Sentience, and you know, there's a reason to fight certain bosses. But overall, in the world of Warframe, that's been my problem. It's just why, and there's been no answer to why. You know, I finally got my favorite character. Well, not character, but my favorite Warframe. I forgot what it's called because I haven't logged in so long, but the one that's like Neji Hyuga from Naruto. Once I saw that guy, I was like, that's my Warframe. That's what I've been waiting on. Like this monk that does hand seals and has the freaking trigram seal come up from the ground and like all this other cool stuff. I'm like, dude, this guy is awesome. Like, this is my main. He's my perma main right here. And then I got him, ranked him up to 30, put formal on him, ranked him up again, and I was like, why am I doing this? Is there a reason for this? And then I uninstalled Warframe, and I haven't gone back to it. I don't want to do that for Anthem. Like, there's so many different ways they can go, so many things that they can do, where I feel like they have plenty of room to grow. And I don't want to make this like an hour-long video of me talking, but like, these are serious things about video games nowadays that drive me up a wall. And it's like, does anyone else pay attention to these things? You know, if everybody's so focused on in-game, it's like, okay, well, you're rushing to get to in-game, you're pretty much speeding through the story, and then what? You know, then, okay, you make your build, and then what? Okay, you know, you wait for the developers to make new content, and then what? You know, you're constantly just hitting that wall of progression, and it's just like, okay, well, is that what in-game is all about now? Is this what really sells video games? Is just constantly hitting this wall of waiting for more content to come out as you perfect your build, and you have nothing to really challenge you? You know, with Anthem right now, there is a lot of challenging enemies, like, or just factions. Like the Dominion is pretty freaking hard, especially on Grandmaster 2 right now for me. Trying to solo that content is almost impossible for me, but I am having fun with it. You know, I use Ranger because it just feels good for me. I wish it had more melee abilities, but like just more than one swing with the electric mace. But just like, I really love Ranger. I love all the classes. Like all the javelins are freaking dope, but Ranger just sticks out to me. And like, I love playing this content. Like, it's fun. I have to be strategic. I have to think, you know, I have to like move. I have to stay alive. And then, you know, I get gunned down and it's like, okay, how can I do this differently? You know, how can I change the situation? And when I'm playing with other people, it's like everybody has a role. You know, someone's setting everybody up for combos. Someone else is keeping everybody alive. Someone's taking down hard enemy targets. You know, like everybody does something different, even when I'm playing with randoms, and I think that's awesome. They need to expand on that. You know, but it comes with time. You know, I'm having fun with it, and like I said earlier, I'm biased against Anthem because I really, really, really want it to succeed for personal and emotional reasons. But you know, I think it's probably one of the coolest games on the market right now. I mean that in sheer honesty. It's one of the coolest games on the market right now. Like, there's no other game that puts me in an exosuit like this. You know, there are hardly any even mech games out there. You know, like Titanfall 2 was out there, and we haven't gotten a new Armored Core game in I don't know how long. I don't even know if we are. Sega looks like they might be holding up their end of the deal by making the games that people voted for a couple years ago. They made a new Sakura Wars. Who knows if they'll make a new Virtual On and a new Jet Set Radio, but you know, who knows? If they make a new Virtual On, that would be awesome. Heck, if they'd even give us the Chinese one that they made, that would be awesome, releasing that worldwide. Sega re-released Border Break for Japanese PS4 players for free, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Trying to think what else. Gundam Battle Operation 2 is still out, free to play for Japanese PlayStation users. Gundam Breaker on PC, I played it on PlayStation, that's garbage, but hey, it's still there. You know, like, we don't really have that many mech games out on the market, or anything even close. And then who knows when Daemon X Machina is coming out on the Switch. I don't even know. And then Zoids Wild, I don't even think they've even released any new information about that game. Left Alive was not the game we thought it was, unfortunately. But yeah, like I said, like there's just really no other game. Like, if Anthem is gonna be a looter shooter, fine, make it a looter shooter. I really don't care. I like that it's third person. I like that it's free flight. They need to raise the cap. You know, follow examples from Warframe with Plains of Eidolon, and you know, they need to pay attention to Destiny 1. You know, Destiny 1 was awesome. It had a lot of things that made it replayable. It had a lot of good content, a lot of good dialogue. Gina Torres, my goddess. I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna just throw it out there. I love any game that has Gina Torres in it. But you know, like the characters, the dialogue, the back and forth between her and Cade, and you know, just that back and forth wittiness, giving the characters life. Like I said earlier, the voice actors that they chose are awesome already. You know, just build on that. Give us more life in the city. Give us more interaction amongst characters, doing missions with a purpose. Maybe a progression system in Anthem would be amazing. Making it so that you know, when we go out and do these contracts, we're getting upgrades. You know, like we're getting upgrades for the fort, or if they upgrade it to a city, which I would prefer it to be a city. You know, have upgrading the turrets. You know, having invasion events. You know, where at night there are maybe the Dominion or another faction try to invade, and you have to hold off the line at the city walls, and you know, assist with the sentinels. And if you fail, then you know, you only get so many times until a portion of the wall is destroyed. You know, like big events like that. You know, have it so that Titans attack the cities, or or just too close to the cities and they're a threat. There are so many things that you could do with contracts where you could create new content. And like I said, this can't be done overnight. I understand that. I've worked in the gaming industry for years. I understand. But there's just so many things you can do. Like even bringing in other javelins. Like I said, like the experimental javelins, like my idea with the one with the claymore. That would be pretty cool. Bringing in other areas, expanding the map and going, hey, there's an ancient javelin here, a prototype that, some other city or fort that got taken down that's not on the map now, or that got destroyed in another cataclysm event or something like that, where they have some tech down there that we could use, go out there and get it. Or do like a surveillance or a recon mission, and something happens, something triggers it, like the Heart of Rage. There's a bunch of things that you can do with Anthem, and just thinking about it makes me excited, because I really do love this game, even though false advertisement, trailers, and all that stuff. Just freaking like so much potential, and I hate to say that word, but yeah, so much potential to make great content, to expand on the system, to expand on so many other things, like the javelins themselves, the weapons. We need more elemental weapons. I found a masterwork assault rifle that can set enemies on fire, which is cool, because then I can use that weapon instead of using my abilities to always prime enemies for a combo, so I can detonate. I could equip 2 detonator type abilities on my javelin and then have my gun do the priming for the combo. Like, that's something that I would like to see more of. Or maybe even weapons that have not just elemental abilities, but like setup abilities. Just something that gives you more options, more AoE abilities. Like not every javelin has like a decent AoE ability. The Colossus has probably the biggest range, or maybe the Storm having the biggest range, but it feels like everything's like single target, and then when you're getting jumped by like 20 Dominion like elite soldiers all shooting you down out the air, because they spawn in giant waves. It's like, okay, my single target abilities aren't going to do crap against a mob that big. So I, something that gives, bigger explosions, like, or maybe something that chains. There are plenty of abilities amongst all javelins that don't have any combo potential. Maybe those abilities could be changed to where, they have a chain reaction, like maybe like shrapnels come out and debuff enemies. So it may not do combo damage, but it may give a debuff to an area. Something. There's a lot of things that can be done. Like, the basics of gaming can be applied, but it's just like, I don't know, like, man, there's so many things that could be done. I don't know what direction they're gonna go in, but I hope that something happens, because I don't want to see this game turn into Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, I streamed Mass Effect Andromeda after they gave up on it and EA just left it for dead. I had so much fun with that game. Like, yeah, it was buggy. Yeah, there were some issues. Yeah, some of the glitches were still there, and some of the bug issues were still there. It was pretty funny to see in person, but overall, I had fun with the game. The gameplay was what really sold me on that. And then the characters, the dialogue, the way the conversations were written, which is what I've always loved about Dragon Age, is like how there's a clash of personalities, how certain characters don't like each other, and if you put them in the party together, they talk bad about each other and stuff like that. I've always loved that about BioWare games, and I would just like to see more of that in Anthem. Like playing through the story and hearing Owen talk. I didn't know who Owen was for the longest time. I was like, who the heck is talking in the background? Like, who is this guy? And then when I finally saw his face, I was like, Oh, and I didn't even connect that he was the guy who had been talking to me in the mission. So I don't know. Like, to me, I think the story needs a revamp, but overall, I'm done ranting. I'm done ranting. I'm done talking. But it's been 30 minutes. But like, I really do love Anthem, and I know this video is long because I just wanted to get all this off my chest. But I'm still enjoying Anthem. I may not be able to log in every day because, you know, life happens, but I want to come back to Anthem each month and go, man, this is good. This is fun. Yeah, what other things can I unlock? What other progression things can happen? You know, like, what items can I find out in the world? You know, like, there should be chests out in the open world that give you really cool items once a month or once a week, you know, that have a monthly, like I said, a monthly or weekly reset where when you open it, you're guaranteed a masterwork or legendary item that's unique, but only for that chest, and you have to know where it is. It'll never show up on the map. You know, it may move in the vicinity. You know, it's never in the same place every week or every month, but, you know, it's somewhere in that zone and you have to find it. You know, or somewhere in a region, you know, like, that would be cool. Like I said, I'm done giving out ideas and talking. I just really love Anthem. I may be the 1%. No one may ever see this video or care, but Peter Scarlett loves Anthem. I know it needs a lot of work. I know it needs a lot of content. It needs time. You know, it needs tender love and care, but, you know, there are people who do want to play this game. And I hope BioWare and EA realize that they do have something great. It may be too soon, you know. It released too soon, you know, maybe they need some direction, maybe they need some new people to breathe life into this game, this blank slate, this open-ended story, this blank canvas, or this half-done painting, whatever metaphor you want to use. But don't give up on something so good before it even gets going. You know, I'd rather play Anthem over The Division 2. I'd rather play Anthem over Destiny 2 or even Destiny 3 whenever that comes out. I'm not even going to give Destiny 3 a chance probably, but I freaking love Anthem, man. It just needs more content. It just needs more creativity, more diversity, more variety, better character models. Man, please create some better looking character models. I would love to respect my character and make the pilot look cool. Cause man, it just looks generic and weird. But whatever. This is me ranting, getting emotional and stuff. Whatever. I love you all. Hopefully something good happens. Hopefully some positivity happens. You know, but if EA pulls the cord, you know, they turn off the switch and just say, you know, we're done with Anthem, we're wiping our hands clean and we're walking away and moving on. There's nothing anyone can do but, you know, let it be. So, all right, y'all. Hopefully I'll get back to making more consistent content, but I just wanted to air out my feelings and just say it. Just say it like it is. You know, unfiltered, unscripted. Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.